Let's return to This Week in America. Here's your host, Rick Bratton.
Welcome back, everybody. Coast to Coast, This Week in America. Author Lillie Timmons' new book, The Don, is a stirring tale of a young woman, Bella, who unknowingly catches the eye of a powerful mobster who changes her life forever. Well, after learning the truth, Bella attempts to escape her new relationship, only to realize she may have no choice to remain. The Don is a captivating tale that leaves readers spellbound and desperate for more with each turn of the page. Lillie was born, raised, educated in the city of Sacramento, California, currently resides in Carmichael, California, located within Sacramento County, home essentially located between Lake Tahoe and San Francisco, two areas she adores. She's constantly writing thoughts on Post-it notes or scribbling on notepaper. She noticed her notes were beginning to take shape as a plot for a story. Always searching for the next challenge, she merged those ideas and wrote her first book. As a first-time reader, she's anxious to continue on the journey. Hopefully readers will encourage her stories and enjoy them. And they are. Lillie Timmons, author of the gripping and compelling contemporary romance tale, The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance, is our guest on This Week in America. Hi, Lillie. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
I am doing fine and looking forward to our conversation today. This is going to be fun talking about this book. Where did this idea come from? Was this some of the Post-it notes you had up there? Where did this idea come from for The Don?
For The Don? Okay, well, that was kind of like for... okay. It was a story of the mafia. And so I got that original thought from when I saw The Godfather years ago. And I wondered how many families were like the Corleone family and how the next generation takes over for the family patriarch, the Don or the Godfather. I truly thought, Rick, at one time that the government had succeeded in ending the mafia. That shows you just how naive I was. Currently, there's the Italian mafia, Russian bratva, Irish mafia, Mexican cartel, triad, etc., etc., etc. But to clarify, my story is totally fiction, and my mafia Don is not real. Not one person in my story is real.
Well, it's a great story. It's a great read. Excellent reviews. Let's go back to the inspiration for you to write a book in the first place. Obviously, you've been jotting things down, writing down ideas, thinking about doing this. Why was it important for you to write a book?
Well, I wanted to leave something behind that proved I was here, that I existed, I have a voice, and I think a talent for telling a story. When I look at the generations that lived before me, I can see them through movies, music, art, and their books. And it's beautiful to realize while they're no longer with us, we can still see their images, hear their voices, read their stories, and experience their talents. I'd like to leave behind a small part of myself with my books.
Well, and you've done that, certainly with The Don. This is a book that's a very popular topic. It's a book so well written, it's going to be there and be bought and read in libraries, bookstores for decades to come. Now, this is the first book. Always interesting in how these things get started. How did you start the process? Pen to paper, typewriter, computer, yellow legal pad? How did you get started in doing this?
Well, I use my computer to enter my handwritten notes. Then I expand those thoughts to build my story. I need the power of the computer to cut or copy and paste large sections of text from one area to another as I proceed. I'm a fast typer, so I make errors that spell check doesn't always catch. I make those corrections later. In addition, I add everything I can think of, including the kitchen sink. I find it easier to move or delete unwanted text than to add new text. I can't imagine using a typewriter to write a novel, but I know it's been done and probably still is the method of choice somewhere by someone.
Well, and this works for you, and I guess that's the key. You sort of have to find what works for you in the whole process of writing. Coming up with the story is one thing. Actually getting it saved and writing it physically is a whole other challenge. With us on the program is Lillie Timmons. She's the author of the book we're talking about, The Don, a story of discovery, deception, defiance by Lillie Timmons. The book available at our website, LillieTimmonsBooks.com, Amazon.com, of course, Barnes & Noble, the usual places. If you go to our website, you'll have a link there. You'll go directly to Lillie's website, get information on her and the book there as well. One common theme as you read the reviews of The Don is the marvelous job you do in character development. The book is really character driven, and these are characters that you do it in such a visual way. We can actually see them as we're reading the book. How did you build your characters? Talk about the development of the characters in The Don.
Oh, thanks. Well, first, I gave my characters names. Wanting an unusual name for the Don, I searched for Italian male names on the net and found the name Ettore, which means reliable and steadfast. It rolled off my tongue easily, and having never heard the name before, it suited him perfectly. I already decided on Antonelli as his last name and Antonio for his middle name. I thought he sounded really important with the name Ettore Antonio Antonelli. It's a tongue twister. That's why his middle name is only stated once. Second, I already decided on the name Bella long before I even started the book. The definition of Bella is beautiful. I gave her the Italian last name Rossellini, her married name, as her character is a young widow, a mother, and an athlete.
Lillie Timmons, our guest on the program, talking about her book, The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance. Book available at all the usual places, LillieTimmonsBooks.com, a great place to go. Get information, order the books there, of course, as well. Talk about developing the story. Did you have a storyline thought out before you began? One of those where you've got the whiteboard in there and all of your ideas, and then you go back, you tie it together with words, or did it sort of evolve as you were writing the book? How do you develop a story?
Well, I did have a thought. I have a broad idea of my story and the characters involved. But I build, enhancing and expanding that character as well as the plot as I go. I'm more driven by character action rather than character thought expansion. So most of my writing is directed toward the character actually doing something rather than thinking about something. So they are very active.
Well, they are. And as a reader, thank you. There's nothing worse than going through 10 pages and nothing happens. And it's like, okay, come on. Somebody's got to do something here. And with Lillie's books, the characters they're in action. You are never going to wonder what they're doing being sedentary. They're not. They're out there. They're actually physically doing something. The book is The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance. The author, Lillie Timmons, our guest on the program, Timmons, if you're Googling, at our website, LillieTimmonsBooks.com. How long did it take you to write this book? When you first decided, I'm going to do this book, to you had it finished where you were able to turn it into the publisher?
It took me a year to finish. It's been a serious undertaking for me. I was engaged in trial and error, in partial rewrites, not to mention my doubts and insecurity with this project. Then it took 11 months to go through the publishing process. So it's been in the works for 2 years. It was so exciting to finally get my copies and see the book's cover. The cover was created exactly as I described it, front and back. I was happy.
Well, and the cover is so important and oftentimes overlooked in a book. The front and the back are both striking. Talk about that when you saw it the first time. I mean, you've got the artist drawings. You have an idea what's going to happen, but it's real when you open up the mail or FedEx or whoever and you see the book for the first time. What was that like? It's got your cover. It's your story. It's your name on the front of the book. You're pictured there as well. What was that moment like?
Oh, that was just awesome. Just awesome. It was so exciting because the journey was pretty long. There were bumps in the road, and some days you thought, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Other days,
Yes,
hurry up,
yes.
let's get this through. So yeah, it was wonderful. In the very beginning, I was asked to give detail about what I expected on the book. So I wrote this long thing out about how I would like the front cover to look, how I want the back cover to look. And by golly, if it didn't just come out exactly the way I wanted it, boy, I tell you what, I'm a proud person.
Well, you should be. It's very impressive. The covers, front and back, and the context, the story is so well done. Lillie Timmons is the author. The book is The Don. You'll find it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the usual places. And you'll be directed there when you go to Lillie's website, LillieTimmonsBooks.com. Reading the reviews, they also talk about the story being beautifully paced. Talk about that and what goes into telling a story, but pacing it so the reader doesn't lose interest. And matter of fact, you want to pique their interest as you're telling the story. What are the challenges in pacing the story?
There really are a lot of challenges there because as I'm telling the story, I'm putting myself in that scene. And I'm thinking, what would I do now? And I'm not one person to sit around too long.
Yes.
I need the action. I need the action. And so I'm thinking, well, okay, I'm sitting here. I've had this conversation. What am I going to do? And then that's how I develop what they're going to do, where they're going to go. If they are going to have a conversation, how long is that going to last? And then I have to be careful that I make it go to another scene seamlessly, because I have messed that up a couple of times and had to go back and change it. So yeah, it's a process, but it's fun.
Well, it sounds like you're having as much fun writing it as the readers are in reading the story. The book is The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance. It's also full of shocking truths, people will say, in writing the reviews. You've got, surprises along the way. Talk about incorporating that in the story, where we think we know where it's going to go, but we're never quite sure exactly where it's going to go. Talk about implementing that in the story.
Well, I was wondering how I would bring out that there's a problem, that someone is after someone, that it is a possibility that there could be an action that causes one of the characters to be hurt or to actually end their life. So I had to make sure that I paced it so that we start as to why. Why does this person need to be careful? Who's going to take care of this person? Who's looking after this person?
Yes.
And so I just had to be careful that I matched those thoughts when I'm progressing.
Who influenced you as a writer, as you were, and I'm maybe even back to as a child growing up in reading books? Who influenced you then and now? Who do you like to read?
Well, my inspiration came from a couple of books that I read because I didn't read a lot, actually. My family and I just sit around and do things.
Oh, yeah.
We don't. So I did read a book by an author. Should I say her name?
Yeah, sure.
T.L. Swan.
Okay.
And I like her writing because she talks like I do. She's not using the $50 words to impress us. She's talking like a normal person, and it's smooth. And I'm not hiccuping when I'm reading a sentence. So I was trying to make sure that I followed that course. Speak like I speak. Don't add words that I normally don't add, and keep, track of where I'm going in the story. And that's the way I did it.
Yeah, and you've done it so well. The book is The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance by Lillie Timmons, our guest on the program. A couple minutes left. I want to talk about Bella, the main character in the book. Is it difficult when you finish this book? Was it difficult leaving her at least for a while?
No. I was very active in high school, and so Bella is an athlete. She's a runner, and so I needed to make sure that everybody understood that she's athletic, she's a young mother, she's a widow, and she's very thoughtful of herself and her family. And so I led her through meeting Ettore, thinking that he's a CEO and not a mafia
the Don.
and how they go through and how she handles that, because she's got to make a decision somewhere in the book. And so I had to make sure that we came across that decision that most people would understand. And so then we go from there. Her life and progresses through the book, and her love of Ettore. And you have to read the book, though, to find out what happens.
Well, yes, and you'll enjoy the journey in reading the book, The Don. What are you working on now? Is there another book that you've got ready to publish?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about it.
I now have 111 pages completed for my next book. And it's titled, you ready for this?
Yep.
Big Trouble in Little Italy.
Oh, okay. The Italian theme continues.
Yet another mafia-inspired story. Only in this book, there are 5 main character perspectives to deal with, 2 aggressive, highly trained Doberman pinchers, and a secret society. I may have bitten off more than I can chew.
Wow.
If you can believe it. I'm trying to put a little humor-inspired dialogue in this one, so we'll see what everybody thinks when I send it in.
Anxious, and it sounds like that's pretty close to being you being able to do that. Is that soon? Maybe we'll be able to get a copy of Big Trouble in Little Italy.
Well, I'm almost done with it. It's the process. The process took about 11 months to go through. So the publisher takes 11 months, and I'm almost through. So by next year, yeah.
Well, let's meet here at the same time next year, and then we'll have a chance to talk about the new book, Big Trouble in Little Italy. Lillie, it's been a pleasure having you on the program. Congratulations on the success of this book, The Don, a story of discovery, deception, and defiance. Best of luck finishing up and getting to press Big Trouble in Little Italy, the next book that Lillie will have out. And you can get information on her, and you can order a copy of The Don at her website, LillieTimmonsBooks.com. You can link on by going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Book, of course, available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of the usual places. Lillie, it's been a pleasure, fun having you with us. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
It has been our pleasure. And the book, again, available at Lillie's website, LillieTimmonsBooks.com. Go to our website. You'll be able to link on directly, get all the information, order the book there as well. You're listening to This Week in America, and we're back on today's program right after these messages.
This Week in America is online. You can visit our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Scott Pinkerton, Associate Producer of This Week in America. Jay Anderson, Segment Producer. Ben Watson, Webmaster. Otto Bechet, Director of Engineering and TV Production. This Week in America produced and is a trademark of Blue Funk Broadcasting, LLC. For information on all of our guests and to listen to this week's show, our website again at thisweekinamerica.us. And I'm Sean Bratton, Executive Producer of This Week in America.